Greetings. This video is focused on what I call my Las Vegas secrets and updates. So I just had a chance to visit there in January of 2017, and after visiting Vegas maybe once every year or two for the last 20 years, it's been awesome to watch the transitions that have occurred. The latest round of items that I wanted to quickly cover is number one, probably 4 or 5 items to cover. One is sort of your airport transfers. 2 is hotel fees. 3 is costs and their management. 4 is just a little discussion of poker and what's going on. So the first thing I wanted to discuss that you'll deal with when you arrive in Vegas is how to get to your hotel. In the old days, you used to be able to get a either inexpensive or a free shuttle provided by the casino to wherever you're going to play, especially if that's where you're staying. Now things have kind of changed. I think the most cost-efficient method is to take Uber or Lyft to the Planet Hollywood Hotel. The cost, if there's no surge, is actually $5, which is a really good deal. The only cheaper way to get there is they actually have a $2 RTC bus that makes all the bus stops, etc., but it's only $2 to get to your hotel. I think 5 is a reasonable, particularly if you have another passenger, $5 is actually a very good deal. Usually the cab ride is about $14 for the same trip. I was actually going to suggest that you actually go to Planet Hollywood, even if you're staying one hotel further or lower, because if you go one hotel over, it's twice the amount. So it's $10 to go one more, or an additional $5 to go one more hotel, which seemed a little bit high to me. The next issue is something called resort fees. So starting, I guess, 5 years ago, I started noticing an increase on something called resort fees, which they saying includes free internet access, gym access, etc. In the old days, you could pay the extra fee to do these or use these things, but now they're being added automatically. I was shocked to find that the current resort fees is $29 a day. And that's a pretty big number given that room rates, if you're not in peak period, can go as low as $50. And they're hitting me with a fee at that level is pretty mind-blowing. This actually encourages people to think about the Golden Nugget and some of the other off-strip hotels because you don't have to endure some of these crazy fees. The next new change that I've noticed is that unless you put your machine in a card or you're at a table playing poker, you can't get free drinks. So in the old days, you could just sit in front of a slot machine and pretend like you're playing and you get free drinks all day and you can enjoy yourself. Now, if your card doesn't go in the machine and show you're playing enough to get free drinks, no free drinks for you. This is also, so that's definitely a clamp down that I was surprised to learn about. The final note is that I was actually very impressed by some of the food options outside the hotels. So in front of Bally's, they have pizza, pho, a whole bunch of really nice food in a small shopping strip in front of Bally's that were excellent in food and excellent food price. Same thing goes for some of the restaurants that are between Paris and the MGM. There are a number of small malls that have been put together there, primarily food driven, that are really impressive. And I think a way better deal than the expensive stuff being served in a hotel. I was actually surprised, in the old days you should be able to get a buffet for 10 or 15 bucks. The buffets being described in Paris were lunchtime in the $27 range and as high as $37 in the dinner hour. I was a little surprised by this pricing at Paris because I actually went to, about a year ago, maybe 2, I was at the MGM with a friend, and they introduced something to me I was really impressed by, which is an all-day buffet where you go in and pay, I think it's $25 or $30, and you get to have a buffet all day long and therefore eat anytime you want without having to gorge yourself on just one trip when you pay one fee. So I really think it's worth reviewing some of the things that are going on the Strip in this regard. A final note on new developments on the Strip, particularly if you play poker, is that from what I can see, each of the large casinos is having between 1 and 3 or 4 tournaments a day. The starting price is around $60 to play, all the way up to, I guess unlimited, obviously, at the bigger venues. But the most common thing I saw was a $60 entry, um, and you have maybe 30 people, and the winner gets about $300. I was kind of confused by that tournament because let's say you play $100 on a no limit table. If you win a couple of hands, you now have $300, and you only have to sit there for maybe an hour or so. But when it comes to paying $60 to get in a tournament, and with a small group of people you can win 300, it just the numbers didn't seem to work out. So I thought it made more sense to rise up from there on price. My only big difficulty on this trip is one of my favorite hotels actually was playing at Bally's for a whole bunch of reasons, including you don't have to deal with the high rollers at the newer hotels. Um, I have to admit that I kind of got run out of Bally's this time, even though it's my favorite place to play, because I had a little bit of a sniffles or a cold, and the smoke, the intensity of the smoke was just messing with my eyes and my sinuses. So I just had to go to Plan B, and Plan B actually ended up being Planet Hollywood because not only do they have a P.F. Chang's there, number one, you can use your accounts. Number two, to eat there, very reasonable, a nice lunch bowl for $12. Um, but it's a nice casino, and they had poker and other activities outside if you chose to do that. So I have to admit that Planet Hollywood may be my new favorite hotel because I can get lunch at P.F. Chang's for $12 and do whatever else I like to do without having to pay it through the nose for a generally bad experience. Enjoy your visit, and thanks for taking time out.